Imagine walking into a great church in the heart of Rome. The walls are tall and the room is quiet. Then you look up and your eyes grow wide. Above you is a giant ceiling covered in paintings. There are people, angels, stars, clouds, and stories from the Bible. The colors are rich and bright, and every part is filled with movement and meaning. This is the Sistine Chapel, one of the most famous buildings in the world, and a masterpiece of art and history. The Sistine Chapel is part of the Vatican, the home of the Pope in Vatican City. It was built between 1473 and 1481, during the time of the Renaissance, a time when art, science, and learning were growing all across Europe. The chapel was named after Pope Sixtus IV, who ordered it to be built. At first, the chapel's ceiling was just painted to look like a starry sky. But that changed when a new pope, Julius II, had a bold idea. He wanted the ceiling covered in stories from the Bible. To do this, he asked one of the greatest artists of all time, Michelangelo. Michelangelo was already famous as a sculptor. He had created the statue of David, a work of incredible beauty and detail. But painting a ceiling was a different kind of challenge. At first, Michelangelo didn't even want to do it. He saw himself as a sculptor, not a painter. But the Pope insisted. So Michelangelo agreed, and the result would become one of the most amazing works of art in the world. Michelangelo began painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling in 1508. He worked high above the floor on wooden platforms, lying on his back or standing with his head tilted up for hours and hours each day. It was hard, uncomfortable work. The paint would drip on him. His neck and arms hurt, but he kept going. It took him 4 years to finish the ceiling, and when it was done in 1512, people were amazed. The ceiling shows scenes from the book of Genesis, the first book of the Bible. It tells the story of how the world was created. One of the most famous scenes is the creation of Adam, where God reaches out to touch Adam's finger and give him life. That moment, two hands almost touching, has become one of the most famous images in the world. Michelangelo painted more than just the creation of the world. He also showed the story of Noah and the flood, the creation of Eve, and the fall of man. Along the sides of the ceiling, he painted prophets and important ancestors of Jesus. Everywhere you look, the ceiling is full of energy, emotion, and movement. But Michelangelo's work didn't stop with the ceiling. Many years later, in 1536, another pope asked Michelangelo to paint a giant wall in the chapel behind the altar. This painting is called The Last Judgment. It shows Jesus at the end of time, judging the souls of the dead. The painting is full of powerful images, angels, saints, and people rising up or falling down. Some are saved, others are lost. It took Michelangelo 5 more years to finish this enormous painting. Together, the ceiling and The Last Judgment cover the chapel in beauty, meaning, and deep emotion. Michelangelo used the human body to show feelings like hope, fear, wonder, and sadness. He believed the body was a gift from God, and he painted it with great care and respect. The Sistine Chapel isn't just famous for its art, it's also a very important place in the Catholic Church. This is where the cardinals meet to choose a new pope. When a new pope is elected, white smoke rises from the chimney of the chapel, telling the world that a decision has been made. Over time, the Sistine Chapel has been visited by millions of people, but for a long time, the paintings grew dark and dull because of candle smoke, dust, and age. In the 1980s and 1990s, experts carefully cleaned the ceiling. They removed years of grime and revealed the original bright colors. Now visitors can once again see the beauty just as Michelangelo painted it. Michelangelo's work in the Sistine Chapel has inspired artists, writers, and dreamers for over 500 years. He showed what a single person could do with vision, talent, and dedication. He didn't give up even when the work was hard. He used his gifts to tell stories that mattered, to share faith, beauty, and truth with the world. Today, when people visit the Sistine Chapel, they still look up in wonder. They feel the power of art to move the heart and mind. The chapel is more than a building. It is a symbol of what people can create when they believe in something bigger than themselves. Michelangelo once said, "I am still learning." Even at the end of his life, he knew there was always more to discover, more to create. The Sistine Chapel reminds us that learning, working hard, and using our talents can lead to something truly great. Whether you are painting, writing, building, or dreaming, the story of the Sistine Chapel shows what is possible when you give your best. It is a treasure from the past and a light for the future.